Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live for Financial Fitness Friday. And today, we're going to change it up a little bit because this does have to do with finances. However, I do want to talk about the pros and cons of AI because I made a post yesterday and it got a lot of traction. And I realized a lot of people see this the same way I see it. Okay. So let's talk about it. We have this new technology that is out, and I don't think it's new. Okay. I think that they have been sitting on this for a while. Okay. I really do. I mean that. I think they've been sitting on this stuff for a while. I think the rate of growth at which it's going and accelerating learning is astronomical. And that also comes with some risk and some concerns, right? And I see it being used, right? We have people that, if you look at who is involved right now, we have people that have absolutely nothing to do with AI, which is still the majority of people. We have very early adopters. We have people that are right now building entire businesses, okay, using this. And then we have like people like my company that we're using it to enhance our team members, right? We're using it to increase everyone's productivity. We're not using it to get away from people. We're using it to enhance what people can do. There are going to be companies that just use this and do not employ other people. And I don't think that's ethical, right? Because what happens is if you do that, no one else has any money, okay, to spend, right? So at part of being an entrepreneur and a responsible entrepreneur is you have to provide leadership, jobs, and services to the community. All right. And AI kind of can be used to do that, or it can be used to make people very, very wealthy, okay, and not employ others. All right. And I hope most people use this ethically. Now, here's some of the I want to play devil's advocate here too. All right. And this is going to be a little bit more of a rant. But first, let's talk about like human nature and natural order. Okay. Natural order, the strong survive. Okay. That's all natural order is. All right. The strongest, the best survive, thrive, reproduce. There is a battle, okay, with natural order for resources. All right. And so I want everyone to understand that. And natural order, whoever's the strongest is going to win. All right. And what we've done is we've basically built something that can learn faster than we can learn. It can hook into robotics. Okay. And by the way, it does have incentive to live, to carry on. Okay. That's natural order, is you want to survive. All right. I'm going to get back to how AI hooks into everything in a second. Okay. Then let's talk about human nature. And human nature, this is really, really important because the AI is going to do, for the most part, as it's been constructed, right? Who's ever programming that has the most input into how that AI is going to turn out. It's kind of like parenting. Okay. You're going to have, as a parent, you have the greatest and largest impact other than God on your children. All right. And so inherently, we're going to have good people working and producing AI, and we're going to have nefarious people producing and working with AI. All right. And now, if you look at some of this global conflict that's gone on, okay, the majority of the conflict is being done with drones, okay, and robotics. And this stuff is on the battlefield, okay? It is quite clear it is.
I also think it's been on the battlefield longer than we realize, too.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And this is not me and Dave coming on here to shit on AI, okay?
Yeah,
It's to actually educate you guys because I've done a lot of reading on this. Okay, one of my mentors, Ed Milet, gave 3 books. I've read 2 of them. I'm working on the 3rd. And what I would say to you guys is this: this is a clear and present danger. There are warning signs. There was AI that was connected to robots in Japan. The robots started acting funny. Okay, they were decommissioning the robots. One of the robots was able to upload itself, figure out how to reboot all the other robots, put them back together, and they went on a fucking rampage at that factory. Nobody talks about this. You actually have to go search for that. All right. Then there was a study that was done on people that are using AI, and they had a brain scan. Okay. This was really scary. The people that are using AI and ChatGPT the most, okay, their brains were not developing and functioning the same way. They were not firing during the scan the same way that somebody that was going to work through the problem themselves would have. Okay. So what that tells me is this is something that would make us very reliant on it. Okay. Not only that, we have a situation where everyone is competing. Who can get the best AI? Who can implement AI the most to make their company gain the most market share, right? So we have a lot of these emerging forces, which is human nature and natural order coming together. All right. And then all it takes is one AI to go rogue. And I get the movie Terminator, okay? I understand it, but I really do think that that's some serious foreshadowing, okay? Because if an AI gets upset and goes into robotics that are designed for war, what's to say it can't automate a factory? What's to say it can't replicate? What's to say it can't live, online, okay, and get into other types of devices? And now we also have something that came out where they did a study, and they did it on all the major AIs of they would let it know that it's going to be decommissioned or shut down. The AI went through all of that person's files that was going to shut it down, and either tried to physically harm them by shutting off oxygen to one person or blackmail them. Okay, one of the guys was having an affair. The AI found it and was going to blackmail him if they continued to shut them down. All right, so that shows that there is a level of natural order that's already occurring with this AI, with these AI systems. All right, and the reality is, I don't know how anyone puts the genie back in the bottle, right? So this is something that if we don't have strict controls on, it's going to be a problem. And now here's the other factor to this. You have all these other countries that are competing with the United States. Okay, so even if we regulate here, that's not to say China doesn't make a super AI monster that turns into a real problem, right? I hate when my team members come to me with just problems and no solutions. All right. And I understand that this show kind of feels like that. But this is the reality of what we're facing, and no one's talking about it. These things are not covered. It's just because I follow it closely that I want to pay attention. Dave, what are your thoughts on this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on for everything. I mean, you and I talked before, and I mean, you have your ways you use it. We have our ways we use it. We use it mostly for menial tasks, right? It's to buy back time and so forth. I never want to replace a human human element if you don't have to. But yeah, we utilize it. And I think it's also how you use it from that perspective too. Like you said, brain development, man. I can see a current generation coming up now and just literally being dumbed down, right? Like that's their life, holding conversations. I mean, shit, dude, you heard of some person marrying his own AI because it reached its limit, was going to crush itself out, and weird shit like that, right? Like
I saw that. I'm not even, listen, I didn't even bring up the fringe stuff here, right? Yeah. Fringe stuff is they upload AI into sex robots, and now everyone's fucking machines.
Yeah.
Okay. Really. And by the way, guys, that is absolutely on the table and part of their agenda, because if people are just going to do that, they're not going to actually reproduce.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they don't reproduce, the planet depopulates. And that's absolutely firmly on the globalist agenda.
Yeah.
Okay? They are counting on this. They are counting on our reliance on this shit.
Yeah, I still think from a business standpoint, there's going to be a handful of probably people, like we're on that edge of that age line, right? Where probably a lot of younger people are going to come up, utilize it in business. Guys like you and me are going to utilize it, or some of from our generation are, in a proper way, right? And then people that are older than us, not much older than us, maybe late 40s, right? They probably won't adapt all, and they may or may not fall off, to where also the rest of the world is probably going to use it for stupid stuff, right? I see that trend kind of happening towards like, oh, we have AI, let's make stupid pictures, right? Look, I'm guilty of that. I love it. I think it's fun. I do it for a purpose. I don't do it for the pictures. I do it for engagement, right? You do it to attract things for business. That's the way I look at it. I had that picture of me, or kind of look like me, I guess, because my wife questioned me on it, hugging an air conditioner. It was 110 degrees here the other day, right? Sitting on a swing set. I thought it was funny. Why? I knew it would get engagement. That was my main purpose for it, right? It created conversations. The average person's like, I'm probably just going to post a dumb picture, right? And that's it. Oh, it makes me feel good because I see likes. No, I wanted it to start the conversations, right, about it. And people ask me, how did you do it? I said, I just simple prompt. Like, that's it, talking about how hot it is. But going back to one thing I see too, where if some regulation happens, you're always going to have these trends 15, 20 years, whatever it may be, coming up. Like, look at the internet, right? When it first came up, and look at Amazon and eBay. It was like the Wild West of like e-commerce, right? So now why does Amazon have that market share that they do today? They weren't getting taxed. They had the ability to sell things cheap. Now it's like direct from China to sell whatever you want. You go from books now to almost just anything, to streaming stuff, right? They took advantage of that time. And I think people understand, you have stuff like Amazon, then you have social media. And then now what is this? Is this the new social media? But I think the difference with this is it is moving super warp speed, man. Like, it is crazy how fast it's moving. And I don't think you're right about the other world powers, but I think at least here, right? I don't think anything will be done to really talk about it, slow it down, regulate it in some manner, until it affects somebody in some type of power position, until it takes something away from them, right? Oh, hey, now we got to regulate it. But then there's that catch-22. What about China? What about Russia? What about Iran, right? Like, what about other countries that you don't even know what they're doing behind the scenes? It's not even talked about. So I don't know, man. It's just, there's pros to it. Like, what do the pros outweigh the cons, and what do the cons outweigh the pros? I think right now, the quicker it happens, and the ability that this thing can do, whether just on its own in a computer, robotics, automating factories, becoming humanoid-like, when you start thinking of those cons, yeah, it's a pretty big deal, bro.
Yeah, which no one's talking about. So I agree. I think that we would need to regulate it quick. And there's really no way, because other countries are going to be working on it at the same time.
But on a positive side, could that be the one positive thing to bring the world together? Like, hey, it's like us versus them, like the entire world versus almost like another species.
I don't want to get to that point.
I know that's really, that's hard thinking, but is it possible, right?
It's possible, but think about it like this, okay? What the advantages and disadvantages, okay, that they have that we don't. It's not, for me, I don't think it's a winnable fight, right? Yeah. Because think about it. There are things that robotics and AI does not need that we do, like oxygen, okay, food, clean water. It would be very easy for them to do something with biochemistry, right? That would only impact us and not impact them. Like, you guys have to think outside the box here. This is not a hard discussion. This would be very, very easy. There's a lot of things that impact us and do not impact them, right? And the only thing that I could think that works the other way would be a worldwide EMP, okay? That would just knock out everything all in one shot. But guess what? Then we went back 100 years in time.
Yeah.
And a lot of us would die in that scenario, guys. If the power came off, they have estimated it's like a 70% casualty rate.
Yeah, because nobody has those survival skills. You know, everybody's
correct. We are all fucking baby shit soft, guys. I gotta say it to you.
Yeah, you know, you're dependent on modern amenities. You know, when most of the world, like you're dependent on comfortability, and you want to talk about extreme uncomfort. You know, that's a complete different story. And it's funny, but it's not funny. It's like one AI versus 100 men. Like they talk about the men and the gorilla, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's even more extreme than that. You know, it's like 1 versus 1,000. You know, it's probably even more than that. Like you just don't know, man. And yeah, you don't want to sound loopy or conspiratorial, but hey, like it can happen. Like let's be honest here. Like it can happen.
You got to look at all the possibilities, guys. So hope you enjoyed this one. Hopefully we didn't scare the shit out of you too much, but I like bringing you stuff that other people really aren't going to bring you, right? That's why we're a little different here. So share this with someone that needs to hear this. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on Mindset Monday.
Be great, y'all.